Hey y'all, this is Jessica with Bless Your Heart. Let's do 4 cups 4 different ways. I'm going to use the coveted floral pack from Flynn Sisters Boutique, and I'm going to use Marvelous, Bloom, Courage, and Empower. We're going to start with Courage, and we're going to do kind of like the diamond split. So I'm going to fold corner to corner and then fold the other corner to corner. And I'm going to take the top piece and the bottom piece and try to make my pattern as seamless as possible. Now I do take my ruler and go in from corner to corner and get as center as possible. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on my cup. And in my mind, that's just going to kind of help me keep everything kind of balanced. I'm going to go in and kind of shimmy the other piece around a little bit to give me more of a seamless look. But I do want to keep everything as balanced and centered as possible. I'm going to use the hinge technique to kind of go in and press it on. I'm going to take my little piece that I've cut off and use my big squeegee to kind of shimmy that on, and that's going to kind of help me with lumps and bumps and try to keep all that at a minimum. Now this vinyl is removable, so it is pretty forgiving, and it really does, if you have to reposition it, it does come off very nicely and you don't get a whole lot of stretch or a lot of movement or distortion. Now you can see that I'm going to try to even it up, but then I go in and end up kind of shimmying it back and forth just a smidgen to kind of help it look a little bit more seamless in my mind. Now once I get that placed where I want it and I think it looks good, I'm going to take off that little piece that I've already cut. I'm going to position where I think it should be, and I'm going to use my big squeegee again to kind of just press it down onto the cup. For my edges, I'm going to use this Bell Customs edge trimmer tool that I've got. I absolutely love it. And I'm just going to go in and cut the top and the bottom. I'm not going to finish out my bottoms of these cups, so there we go. For the second cup, we're going to use Bloom, and we're going to go in and I'm going to do a stripe design for this one. So I'm going to measure me 3 stripes at 2 inches a piece. And then I'm going to go to my cup and I'm going to make me little dots, and they're going to be 2 inches a piece. Now that bottom one is going to be a little wonky. It's not a full 2 inches, but that's all right. I'm going to use my paper trimmer to cut so I can have, as best I can, straight lines. And we're going to place it on the cup at 2-inch intervals, and we're going to leave a 2-inch gap between all of these so we can use some glitter. I'm going to start with this top 2-inch section, and I'm going to try to line it up as straight as possible. Now there is going to be some vinyl striping, so if we get off kilter just a smidgen, it's really not going to be a bad deal. So I'm just going to wrap this around the cup. I'm going to go down 2 inches, wrap another piece around the cup, and go down to that bottom 2 inches and do the exact same thing. I will be trimming my seams in between all of these if I remember, and then I'm just going to move on. I am trying my best to keep the pattern the same from top to bottom, so it just looks like we've got kind of like a break in the vinyl, but sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't. You can see here that that bottom 2 inches is not quite a full 2 inch, but that's okay. So when I get this put on, I'm going to pull that vinyl tight around that bottom edge. And then I'm going to use my craft knife and go around kind of like that outer circle ledge. And what that's going to do is it's going to help our vinyl edge trimmer tool to not have to worry about those peaks and valleys. And so we'll get a nice crispy edge around the bottom of it. This is really the best way to do that, in my opinion. Other people may think something different, but this is the best way that I know how to do it. And as before, I'm just going around the top and the bottom so we have those nice lines. For the Empower piece of vinyl, I'm going to do a V-split. And this big pink flower is really my favorite part of all of this piece of vinyl. So I'm going to go in and fold it edge to edge after I get my triangle cut. And I'm going to use the hinge method and put it on, and I'm going to try to center it as best I can. Now with all of these cups, you might have noticed that I have those little black smudges around my rim, and that's just that I used my lid for what my lid considers true center. So I'm going to shimmy this on, and I wanted that whole pink flower to be on there. I'm going to use the edger tool to get us a nice crispy rim at the top, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Now this is hands down my favorite sheet of vinyl that came with the Coveted Florals pack. This one is marvelous, and I'm going to do a full vinyl wrap with this. I am going to cut it down to where it fits my cup properly and proportionately, and that's flower in the center. I want it to be center in my cup. So I'm going to try to get everything nice and balanced and keep it all as even as possible. So I'm going to do the hinge method with this one. I'm going to tear back that little piece, cut it, and wrap it on, and I'm going to try my hardest to keep it nice and straight and center. So full transparency, I do go a little overboard making sure that this is where I want it, and I am super tedious with this one. But I really wanted that flower with the stem to be front and center, and it actually ended up pretty okay. And once again, we're going to go in with our edger tool so we have those nice solid stainless steel lines poking through. And with that done, let's just take a gander at what we've got this far. The next step after we admire all of our vinyl work is to go in and tape off all that vinyl to protect it as best we can. And this is what that's all going to look like as we get ready for the glitter step. Now this is going to be our striped tumbler, and we're going to use the Glitter Guy Aged Amber and West Texas Glitter Chocolate Lab. For our adhesive, we're going to do Adhesive Apothecary, the glitter glue. And I'm just going to go full coverage on those pieces of stainless steel poking out. And I'm going to go full coverage with the glue and full coverage with the glitter. Now this is going to need a second coat. I do not film the second coat. This is already going to be a really long video. But you do need to go in with all of this glitter and put a second coat because I did not base coat with any paint. I've said this before and I'll say it now. Aged Amber is one of those sleeper glitters that everybody needs. This glitter is absolutely beautiful. For the V-split, we're going to do an ombre with Peachy Olive Glitter Sis and Expo. And I'm going to use this same glitter glue for all 4 cups. And we're just going to go full coverage with the glue. And then we're going to ombre the pink into the black. I'm going to start with Sis, and I'm going to go full coverage right there on the very top, and I'm going to tilt my cup down pretty far, pretty steep angle, and just let it kind of fall down on its own. And then with the Expo, I'm going to go full coverage right at that bottom ledge, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm almost holding my cup vertical to try to get that blend as best as possible. In this one, we're going to do another ombre also. We're going to use West Texas Glitter Georgia Peach and the Glitter Guy Peaches and Cream. I'm going to use the lighter color in the very middle and the darker color on the outer edges. We're going to use that Peaches and Cream and go full coverage in the center and just kind of tilt our cup almost to vertical. And then we're going to use Georgia Peach on the top and the bottom rim and go again with a very steep angle to kind of just let that all melt together. I am using polyacrylic to seal all of my glitters, and I'm just going to show you with one little section here. I just put a little dot and kind of just smear that in all the way around, and I am going to do this to all of my glitter. And I'm guessing I had a thumbprint on my camera today, so that's lovely. Now this one we're going to go in and we're just going to add or enhance the actual vinyl itself. I am using Peachy Olive Glitter's Blue Blood, Create by Firefly Jerrica, and the Glitter Guy Coral. And I'm going to use this art glitter with this precision tip. And basically I'm just going to kind of go in and scribble the glue kind of where I want the glitter to stick. I'm not going full coverage. I'm just making little jagged lines. Like I said, I'm going to use a blue, a pink, and a coral. Now all these cups have been sealed and have a layer of epoxy on them, so I'm going to go in and do my vinyl striping. All of them will be striped with a textured metallic. This one is going to be black, and I'm going to go on both sides of that V. For our stripe tumbler, I'm going to go in with a gold metallic, and I'm going to go on the top and the bottom of all of my stripes. I personally like to leave a little bit of overlap underneath. That way if the epoxy pulls my striping, I will still have full coverage. For this one, I'm going to use a silver, and I'm going to go on the top of one of those diamonds and then move it to the bottom of the other diamond. And you'll see what I mean here, and I'm going to do that on both sides. This is in essence my decal. I do end up going in with an offset and using the same metallic vinyl that I use for my frames and all of my striping. And this is what we look like all said and done. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you again soon. Bye.